Hey everyone, hope you're having a good day. It is Wednesday, July 20th, 2 p.m. Eastern. I'm hiding. Let me fix the camera. We'll get ready to go. All right. So, hope everybody is well. Appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for the likes and the shares and such. We're going to be talking about back burners a good bit due to recent broader market and cryptocurrency strength. We're seeing some back burners in, well, I'll show you when we go over them. But anyways, back burner free ebook. For those of you that have not checked it out, link just posted in the chat room, and I will post that link in the comments of the video as well. So check this out. It is, again, it goes along with our video about the back burner trade, and it is a trade that is absolutely worthwhile. Lots of people use it these days in both directions, both bullish and bearish, and we'll look at a couple examples recently where it has come into play. NASDAQ. So the NASDAQ bull break took place. We've got the daily higher high. So what does that mean? Well, that means bulls have short-term control, but we also know to zoom out. And when we zoom out, we can see, okay, well, we are still in a weekly downtrend. So we can have a short-term bullish bias, but we're not going to lose sight of the bigger picture, and that is the weekly downtrend. And we know that with some significant fundamental events into next week, FOMC, and then earnings for Apple, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, big tech, that is going to have a significant impact. And we are still at this point about 4% under this weekly resistance. So we've got short-term uptrends, but we are aware we're in longer-term downtrends. So right now there's definitely a bit of disbelief out there from bears and from people still on the sidelines. Oh, it's just a bear rally. This is for selling into. That may be the case, but regardless of whether or not that is the case, there has been significant opportunity for the bulls over the last couple of weeks. It started with crypto over the weekend, and now we're seeing it in other places. The cannabis sector, which again is high risk, high reward, has been absolutely crushed, but there's short squeezes going on here. Just little mini ones. You know, it doesn't look like much bigger picture, but these are significant 50% bounces. So over the past couple of days, these Canadian cannabis names and the USMJ names have been following crypto's lead as far as a bit more of a risk on appetite. And when I say risk on, I am implying that market participants getting a little bit more comfortable putting money in play with the bull break that took place on the daily time frame. So nice volatility there. The crypto miners, again, they've got a short squeeze going. Gap up open, marking a temporary top for MARA. Talked about that in the broader market video yesterday. To look for a gap up open for a temporary top. To watch for first 5-minute oversold conditions for a bounce play. We went 5-minute oversold. There's your back burner. 8% bounce on MARA this morning from first 5-minute oversold conditions. I'm keeping my eye on cannabis name TLRY because I just entered this 5-minute consolidation. Stop under the low. If the bulls can confirm this 5-minute trend change, hourly higher low will be set. So I'm making a play for an entry on hourly consolidation on TLRY. So we'll see how that plays out. And I would need to close near the high of the day if I'm going to look to swing it. But anyways, just grouping it together, risk on mindset with these higher risk, higher reward names. So bigger picture, the dollar is bouncing. And we're seeing now some potentially toppy action. Just temporary tops looking like they may be shaping up in some places. And we're going to look at that in crypto. But just as far as, again, the stock market, the biotech sector tried to break out today, had a really strong start to the morning, and now a big upper wick showing some profit taking. So definitely some places where we're seeing potential temporary tops of perhaps short-term bull exhaustion. And if the dollar bounce gets follow through, I will be watching for a daily lower high. And if you are a crypto or stock market bull, you really want to see the dollar bears confirm a daily downtrend with a lower high and lower low. to be the result of that next bounce. So Bitcoin, nice follow through. Bitcoin played laggard here, where a lot of the altcoins had a more significant bull break on the move the last 4 days or so. And Bitcoin was kind of just grinding around, not doing much. And then Bitcoin got a turn. And the dominance chart is bouncing, showing us that pretty much since last night, Bitcoin bulls have started to stand out, taking their turn with getting some follow through to the upside. And the bull moves still lack follow through, but the bears are nowhere to be found aside from over the last hour. But before the last hour, the bears were nowhere to be found. So these bull breaks, yeah, granted, they're not seeing follow through, but we do just keep seeing higher lows on longer term time frames. And even, 1 minute oversold conditions were being bought up on that run up that we saw. So Bitcoin in the short term, the size of this pullback that we just saw is decently notable. And now bulls have to be cautious. If we were to confirm an hourly downtrend with a lower high and lower low, we would then zoom out. We would go to the 4-hour time frame. Again, we're watching the 4-hour chart as a bit of a guide over the last few days in terms of when is daily consolidation going to shape up. And if the 4-hour higher lows keep forming, daily consolidation is not shaping up. So I'm watching 22.9 thousand as a key support level on Bitcoin for the 4-hour uptrend to remain intact. If we confirm an hourly downtrend, then we're going to head towards that support. And if we don't confirm an hourly downtrend, then bulls are just going to slowly grind it right back up to where we came from. So we have an initial pullback, and honestly, this pullback is due to Google News. So you look at QQQ. Monday, we had Apple News drop the markets. Today, it was Google News. Same news right here. Google says, hey, we're going to slow down our hiring. And that's the same thing that Apple said. And so the market started hourly consolidation at 1240 in response to that news. And if you look at Bitcoin, during that point in time, it is right here. So it was already pulling back, and again, just helping it pull back a little bit further. So bulls are trying to confirm a 5-minute inverse head and shoulders. It's actually the same setup as what I'm trading on TLRY right now. So bulls are attempting the inverse head and shoulders. We got to break 23,730. And then we would zoom out and watch to see if an hourly lower high is going to be the result of this bounce, knowing the burden is on bears to prove to us an hourly downtrend if we're going to increase probabilities that a daily pullback is coming. We will be looking for a daily high or low, but right now in the short term, all we care about is daily consolidation coming. And if the hourly downtrend with a lower high and lower low confirms for Bitcoin, the probability of daily consolidation will increase. I personally have been exiting my swing position. So if you've been following along over the last 6 weeks, started scaling into the position of Ethereum, a little bit of Bitcoin, mostly Ethereum, on the break of 1,000. And my target was a weekly climax leading to a bounce, looking for the stair-step pattern to break, and looking at weekly EMA 12 resistance. So we've gotten close enough to that weekly EMA 12. I mean, the EMA 12 is 1652. We got up to 1631. That's enough for me to be scaling out. So I actually started scaling out yesterday. Was that yesterday? It seems like forever ago. 2 days ago. So I was scaling out on this move up, and then a little bit more on the bounce from that initial top being set. And so I am now out 3/4 of my swing position on Ethereum. The last quarter of my swing position, I'm just walking up my stop loss every single time a new 4-hour higher low is set. When the 4-hour higher lows are lost, I will stop out of the rest of my position, and daily consolidation will then be underway. The next trade that I'm looking for, a lot of newer traders, you'll make a move, you'll enter or you'll exit, then what? So I already know what I'm looking for in the decision to exit. I'm looking for hourly oversold back burner. Check out the free ebook I posted. Hourly back burner for my next entry. As soon as I started selling, I say I am no longer interested in any bull entries until daily consolidation begins, because again, I'm still swing mindset here. I'm not day trading these moves. There's definitely enough volatility to day trade them, but stock market is giving just as much volatility, and again, free fees. So that is where I personally am remaining. with the majority of my day trading focus, I'm swing trading crypto. So because I'm swing trading, I'm waiting for daily consolidation and I'm waiting for hourly oversold conditions. And I'll do the same thing that I do with my style. And again, we got that YouTube video. If you Google TheChartGuys, how I trade crypto breakdowns, I will scale into the hourly oversold bounce and I'll scale out a partial position once that bounce gets going to try and get a break-even stop that is under the low. I stick my stop under that low. If hourly oversold conditions mark our daily higher low, it's going to be a daily bull flag and we'll see continuation. If hourly oversold conditions do not mark our daily higher low, then I will stop out, break even or a small loss, and look to reassess. Probably then wait for daily EMA 12 support. So that is my game plan. I got it all laid out. Know exactly what I'm looking for now that I am exiting my long positions from that swing trade. And again, it's the fact that the daily chart just went 60% with no consolidation. That's why I am absolutely perfectly fine scaling out on this move and not worried about, what if it keeps running away without me? Daily consolidation, even if we see another leg up, I am confident I'll be able to get back in where I sold here in the upper 1500s. All right. So Ethereum's a daily inside bar. If the inside bar breaks bear, daily consolidation underway, and then we scout hourly oversold conditions. ETH BTC started to show us weakness first. So the big weakness on ETH BTC was the 19th at 9, 10, 11 a.m. And on the 19th at 9, 10, 11 a.m., this was happening, but we were dropping while Bitcoin was going up. So Bitcoin did this and Ethereum dropped, which is why there is such a fast, hard move on that ETH BTC pairing. And so that was another indication of looks like Ethereum is due for some daily consolidation as ETH BTC started its daily consolidation already. So again, these BTC pairings can give us some clues. Right now, it's on the verge of confirming a 4-hour downtrend into further daily pullback. We will be scouting the daily higher low, but Ethereum has been weakening comparative to Bitcoin over the last 24 hours plus, more like 36 hours at this point. So that's one example where the ETH BTC pairing gave a little bit of a clue. There have been other, for day traders that are actively trading this space, and again, there's plenty of volatility to do so. There have been some back burner bounces here. And in the last live stream, I talked about how for me, I like the confluence of signals with the back burner oversold conditions aligning with a longer term time frame EMA 12 support. So here's Adam testing 4-hour EMA 12 a couple candles ago, and 15-minute oversold conditions were right off that level. And then we'd had a 4% bounce. So again, not a ton of follow through, but if you're day trading, if it's a 4% bounce and you got a little 2% flip in there, it's definitely worthwhile. And Mana did the same thing. 4-hour, again, at this point, we've gone to lower lows, but 4-hour EMA 12, we were just above it, 15-minute oversold conditions, resulting in about a 3 to 4% bounce. So just little day trades there. And again, it's the kind of, if I'm playing these back burner bounces, I want to be exiting a partial position and sticking my stop under the low. If I'm just looking for a day trade to lock in a little 2% move and be all out and keep stacking little base hits, that's fine. If I'm trying to hold for a longer term move, I'm selling half, I'm putting my stop under the low, and if we roll over, no big deal, back to cash, tiny loss, if any loss, and then just waiting for a longer term time frame to potentially get oversold. So that is how I'm currently trading the space. I do believe temporary tops may be in here. Again, that's why why I sold my Ethereum. And I still need a little bit more conviction. I still need the bears to prove stuff to me. But after this size of move, not a bad idea for bulls to take a little bit of profit. Just ensure you got a game plan. What are you looking for to re-enter the positions that you're taking profit on? And of course, aggressive bears are looking for entries as well. So aggressive ETH bear is going to be looking for an hourly lower high next bounce, an aggressive BTC bear. If we look at our list here, who's stronger, who's weaker, some of these names are already pulling back notably. Matic had a double bottom. We just had a tightening range. So high, low, double top, which is your ideal bearish entry with a top fish, very low risk. Double bottom, lower high, bear break. So now your daily consolidation is underway. Inside bar, bear break. Hourly oversold conditions, just got right down to them. And we'll be looking for an hourly lower high to be the result of this bounce. But some names starting daily consolidation, and of course, the more altcoins that start daily consolidation, the higher probability that other names are going to start daily consolidation as well. Let's see, what are the coins I want to talk about? I want to talk about, first off, I withdrew from Coinbase. I was on Twitter and saw a ton of posts, I can't withdraw, yada yada. And I don't doubt that some people are having issues, but I just wanted to see if it works for me. And I withdrew a significant amount, and in 6 hours it was in my bank account. So no red flags for me there. Just wanted to do a little tester. But I do know some people are having issues and having to redo some KYC stuff to be able to withdraw, and just some hassle. So that is a reality for some people, but it's definitely a lot of FUD at this point, in my opinion, still circulating around regarding Coinbase. So what else do we got? I want to talk about groupings. So I am mentally grouping, and I've been posting about this on Twitter, but I mentally group things together. And when I'm trading stocks, I'm watching all the different sectors, all the names that trade relative to each other, and watching correlations within those sectors. And so crypto will develop to have that more and more. It already has it to a certain degree, but we have it names like, and we did this, if you've been watching for a while, remember our Three Musketeers bounce, where we had that weekly bounce on some of our really beat up names, and there were clues out of those pairings that had the same, or those individual names that had the same setups, and they would take turns. Well, we just saw that with the metaverse names as well, just as an example. So this is a subsector within crypto, and you had Sand leading the way up. So Sand bull move took place here, July 18th, right when the July 18th candle started, or the day started. Then you had, no, it wasn't Sand first, it was Ape first. Ape was first and made its big bull move up right here. And Ape went first. Sand was not far behind it with its move up. And you can see again, look when Ape topped out. Ape topped out on the 4 a.m. candle, the 18th, and it then pulled back and consolidated for essentially 24 hours. So 4 a.m. candle on the 18th. That 4 a.m. candle on the 18th, this is where Ape topped out. So Ape topped out and consolidated here for a day. Sand kept going. So Sand got a turn. And then, when did Sand top out? The 18th at 2000 hours. So then Mana got a turn. What did I say? The 18th at 2000 hours? So here is where Sand topped out. And then Mana gets its turn. This is literally traders that are just going from one to the other. They're taking profit in one, they're going into the one that hasn't run yet. They're waiting for the pop, they're taking the profit, they're going into one that hasn't run yet. So there are benefits to having these groupings. I got the metaverse names as a grouping. I've got GMT and waves as a grouping. And I have no idea if these names are fundamentally related, but I've seen them trade similarly enough earlier in the year that they're related enough for me. And I forget which one made the move first. 18th, all day on the 18th for GMT. And the 19th. So it was GMT first, and waves followed after. And I know all of this is in hindsight about the laggards, but was able to post in the chat room before it all happened, hey, keep an eye on waves because GMT just ran. Hey, keep an eye on Mana because the other metaverse names have run. And there's another group that I'm watching, LTC, BTC weekly. So we know that if we do not confirm this weekly trend change, nothing changes, bears keep complete control. We have to see the first weekly uptrend in a very long time. There's a bunch of names like this, and they are some of our weaker names. ADA, BTC, trying but still struggling. And Mana, BTC, trying and struggling. So they're all doing the same thing. So when I had these names on watch a couple days ago, they were all shaping up that weekly higher low and heading towards resistance. But at this point, it's looking like potentially another dud. as far as these names being unable, at least this attempt, to follow through with weekly trend changes. But again, they're just groupings. What does ADA, Mana, and LTZ have in common? Nothing, aside from them being crypto, and they've got weekly BTC pairings that have the same setup. And most other setups are different than this. Watching my TLRY bounce try and play out. Got to break 395. I'm looking to take some partial profit down to swing size position. So exactly what I'm doing on TLRY, I'm going to be looking to do on the hourly for Ethereum next time it hits oversold. And so I'm looking now to sell half of my position to get down to a swing size position. And if I sell half here, it would drop my break even to, maybe 384 or so, because my entry is up here. And so I can just stick my stop under 382 for very small risk, and it's either going to be an hourly bull flag with continuation or it's not. And if it's not, I have a tiny loss. And if it is, my win is much bigger than what that tiny loss potential is. So I got to see what QQQ is doing. It's trying to do the same thing. I'll get back to the chat room in just a second and start answering some questions and looking at altcoins. I'm just waiting to see if I can get an extra penny out of this. Little bit of bear correlation potentially shaping up. All right. All right, I can't be nitpicky here. All right, time to pay attention to you all. Got something in my eye. Okay. We don't have 100 likes. Please click that button. All right, so one other topic of conversation, hedging. If you are a swing trading bull and you want to let the move try and play out further, you need to decide right now, are you going to sit through daily consolidation? There are some traders that are willing to sit through daily consolidation from here. I am not one of them. If you are, there are potential hedging plays that you can take by trying to top fish. So today, on the S&P 500, I had only long exposure in my IRA. And at this point right here, I posted in the chat room, I like where my account is sitting on the day. it would not be surprising for hourly consolidation to take place at some point this afternoon. So I am entering a bearish position. The only reason I entered this bearish position, there were no red flags for me. It was just the realization that we've been bullish all day yesterday. We've been bullish all morning. Hourly consolidation will certainly eventually be due. So I'm going to enter some protection. And so then we get the hourly consolidation. I got lucky as far as the Google news helping that drop. And so I was able, if I didn't do anything, my account went up with my long exposure. It would have dropped with my long exposure. But because of that hedge position, which offset all of my long exposure and then some, my account went up here, it went up here, and then I started scaling out of that short position, anticipating an hourly higher low, and so now it's going up here. So it's been going up all day in both directions because of that hedge position. So if you know you're going to sit through crypto daily consolidation to try and let a move play out further, you're also looking for a potential bearish entry in one of the weaker coins, again, to try and offset what that daily consolidation would do as far as the account value dropping from your long exposure. When do I use EMA 26? Really just for the crosses. Just a visual guide for the crosses. I don't use it for support and resistance, so that is good observation. It is always EMA 12 for me. As far as a level that I'm using as a target as resistance to take profit, or a bounce target to play off of. So it's just the crosses that I look for, and that's the MACD. The MACD is EMA 12 and 26 crossing. So by looking at it on my chart, I don't need the MACD indicator on my chart. Why does nobody talk about total crypto market cap? Because I know what it's doing. I don't need that chart. I mean, I don't look at total stock market cap because I know if the S&P 500 is going up, the market cap's going up. And if it's going down, the market cap's going down. And so I know that with Bitcoin. The market cap has been going up for the last 8 days in the crypto space. So there is not often differences in the market cap chart that you can see that aren't present in if you're just following along with Bitcoin and the larger altcoins. So Matic is definitely one of the leaders to the downside with daily consolidation already underway. Leader to the upside, topped out first. And now a leader down. Hourly oversold bounce trying to play out. Bulls need a 5-minute trend change back in their favor. And we just had one. So there's your 5-minute trend change. Zoom out. It's got a 15-minute. Well, we had a little 15-minute. So at this point, need to see this hourly inside bar at the moment. If it remains one, that has to break bull. Still 31 minutes to go. But we'll be watching for an hourly lower high to be the result of this bounce. And the bulls will have to gain an hourly uptrend as step number 1 for a potential daily higher low to be set. What was my trigger for the TLRY trade? Knowing that I'm looking for hourly higher lows in the NASDAQ, the S&P 500, and on TLRY itself, seeing the size of this 5-minute bounce big enough for me to say, okay, I'm anticipating a 5-minute higher low is going to be the result of the next consolidation. That bounce is 4%. 3+%. So my risk reward is low here. I enter at 387. My stop goes under 382 with a little bit of wiggle room. Because obviously if we break to the lower low, we're not setting up a 5-minute trend change and I would be wrong and stop out. But I'm not loving how we're shaping up here just because QQQ already broke to a higher high. So that is showing me that TLRY has a little bit of relative weakness comparative to the NASDAQ right now. If we were stronger than the NASDAQ, we would be up in the upper 390s right now. So that is one way that I very easily can see relative strength and weakness. The same way that we look at Bitcoin or altcoin Bitcoin charts, TLRY divided by QQQ, it's going down here. Or it's weak, it's not going up. because there's a little bit of relative weakness on this bounce attempt. Looking for a 15-minute lower high on the Bitcoin bounce. No, because we broke the 15-minute lower high already. This was a little trend change there. So we're looking for an hourly lower high. Anything under 24,280. But keep an eye on the NASDAQ because we're doing the same thing. NASDAQ looks a little bit stronger with EMA 12 here on the hourly. But if we just see NASDAQ continuation, then probability certainly increases for Bitcoin continuation. If the NASDAQ breaks the current low of consolidation, probabilities for Bitcoin daily consolidation would increase. Sol, daily, inside bar, potentially shaping up consolidation. We did already lose the 4-hour higher lows. So we're looking for an hourly lower high to be the result of the next bounce, anything under 46.30. We're watching for first hourly oversold conditions, and we will be watching for a daily higher low with lots of space for it to form. 147 likes, thanks. If you're in the USA and you cannot short, there are stocks where you can short. BITI is the ETF for shorting Bitcoin. You can short MARA and Riot as some sympathy plays. But if your capital is all on crypto and you don't have stock account exposure, then you're waiting for daily consolidation and you're watching, depending on your trading style. You know, I'm not going to say you're watching for an hourly oversold bounce because I don't know if you're any good or have any experience trading hourly oversold bounces. I just know what I'm looking for. Sweetie Pants is snoring in the background. SPY 1 hour higher low does look like it's being set. 5 minute. Little double bottom and resistance break. It's going to be a fairly meaningful last hour and a half of trading here to see whether we close up near the high of the day or fade back down. I only trade crypto with USD. I do know I am due for a browse update. I appreciate that. I was going to do it, but then I had this live stream to do. I don't use algo. How many orders do I put in when playing a 5 minute oversold bounce? Generally 2, especially if it's 5 minutes. If we're in extremes, it's more. You know, Ethereum under 1,000, I would have probably had 8 orders if we kept dropping. I probably had 3 fill. So the longer and more extreme the time frame, the more orders I will use. But if it's just 5 minute, just 2 orders. In, out half on the initial bounce. Set a stop for the remainder. I mean, exactly how I'm doing TLRY. All right, I am done. I appreciate you tuning in. Establish those game plans and look forward a step. I already knew when I was selling my Ethereum what I would be looking for next to look to re-enter those positions. And again, it requires experience to have the knowledge to know what to be looking for next, but that's where we all want to get to. Establishing those game plans and anticipating most likely scenarios. Don't forget to do good things. Check out that free ebook. Currently reworking on the entries and exits course. It's going to be way better. If you already have that, you'll just get the new, way better version. But we're still a month or 2 out because I have to work on that on the weekends. See you soon.